Hi everybody, Shanti here from the Whisky Chicks, and I am in Lark Bar with none other than Bill Lark himself. I'm very excited. I'm always excited to meet up with Bill. He's such an awesome dude. He really is one of the salt of the earth kind of people. He's so instrumental, like one of the most important people in the industry in Australia. He's the grandfather of the Australian whiskey industry, which is phenomenal. And I still can't believe that he spends time with me because I'm no one. So it's awesome. So enough from me. Let's cross to Bill.
Shandy.
That's Bill.
Whisky Chick. Of course, I love spending time with people like yourself. You're great. You love whiskey.
It's always good to hang out with people who like whiskey. It's a different kind of person. It's cool.
Great people.
Yeah, so good. So I feel like when we catch up, we always take longer than we're supposed to, which is cool.
It's one of the nicest things I think about this industry is getting together with people like yourself. I love it.
And we all come from such different walks of life and have fun stories to share about. I think a lot of us enjoy traveling, which is really fun.
Yep.
Which is cool. So getting to the crux of what I wanted to ask you, a couple things. We've been talking a lot about the whiskey industry, whiskey in Australia, what it's like to start up a whiskey business, but a business in general. What advice would you have for someone that's going into the whiskey industry now?
Okay, look. First of all, I think you really have to have a passion for wanting to create something that your friends are going to enjoy, that you're going to enjoy with them. And it wouldn't matter if it was something other than whiskey, but if you've got that same passion, then you'll do well in the whiskey industry. There are some challenges ahead for anybody wanting to start in the industry.
Yeah.
Practical challenges like there's going to be a shortages of barrels, but there's solutions to that. You'll work that out. But the most important advice I could offer somebody is if you've got a gut feeling that you can do this, then follow that gut feeling. You don't necessarily need a business plan. In fact, we were talking earlier, I tend to talk people out of well, they probably never go into business. But you have to be aware that if you think you're going to make money quickly, or you'll get to a point where you've got mature whiskey and you'll start to sell it and everything will become easy for you, it won't. That's just the start of it. And you've probably, if that's taken you 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, then double that, because that's about when things start to work for you. So the only thing you need to be a little bit careful of is that you've got a business plan in mind, not a business plan, a business strategy in mind that will get you through that brick wall, that financial brick wall. The other advice I can offer you is the longer it takes isn't a bad thing. That if you develop a product that you're proud of, that your friends and your customers are proud to share with you and enjoy, and you bring them along slowly with you on the journey that you're about to take, then you'll build up supporters that become rusted on solid supporters for you and what you're doing in your brand.
One of the things that I love everything that you say, but one of the things I thought was really awesome was the heart you feel for people that have been buying Lark whiskey almost since the beginning. You know, you still know some customers that have been buying your whiskey for decades now.
Yeah, they've shared that. I hate to use the word journey. They've shared that with us, that the experience that we've developed. They've come along for the ride with us and supported us through thick and thin, and they're still there with us, and that's a wonderful thing. And one of the things that we said to ourselves was, we will never release a whiskey that I'm not proud to sit down and share with you as a friend, and that I believe you'll enjoy it because I enjoy it. And if that wasn't the case, we just simply wouldn't release it. That was always the driving force for us. We never tried to rush our product into the market. We thought we don't have the money for it for a start. If we produce a product that we're proud of, that one day people will come looking for that product. And that's the case too. So don't be in a hurry.
Yeah.
But, and as I was talking to you earlier about anybody wanting to do anything in life, I honestly believe there's nothing you can't do in life if you want to do it. So if you want to start a distillery and you want to make whiskey, then do it. Follow your passion. You know, just be a little bit careful. Take your time. Be aware that there's some challenges out there. But above all, talk to other people in the industry. The thing I love about this industry is that most people are willing to help you and share their experiences. Nobody wants you to make the mistakes that they've made. They're willing to help you
so true.
Work through that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that you wouldn't produce a whiskey that you don't believe in and that you wouldn't share with someone, because we have been having whiskey and Mubrew. I love that we have similar taste in beer. It gives me so much validation. But we had the distillers selection first, and it was phenomenal. And then we just had the classic cask, which is a relatively new release.
It's the newest release, but it was on the shelf for a few weeks, now gone, but there's another one coming.
There's a couple going. So, and they're phenomenal whiskies. They're like, the first thing I said when I had the classic cask was, it tastes like Lark. It tastes like Lark. Like, that's
important. It has to taste like Lark.
Yeah.
And that came from, we had no idea what we were doing at the start. We just started playing around with barrels and yeast, and eventually Lynn and I developed a style of whiskey that we liked that became Lark.
Yeah,
and we've stayed true to that as much as we can.
That's the best. It's the best thing about starting something yourself, is you produce something that you love and that you can get behind.
That's the other most important advice I can offer anybody that wants to get into this industry. Develop something that you like and you're proud of, and you'll be able to stand up and talk about the product that you've made, that you want, that you're proud of. And if you do that, people they'll follow you, they'll come to support you.
Yeah, so true. Okay, so here comes the time in the evening where I say something to Bill that I haven't said yet. So one thing I want to get going as Whisky Chicks is interviews with distillers and people in the industry, to have a chat with them, because anyone can be on video if they're with someone that they can have a chat with, because really video is just having a conversation with someone, which is cool. Yep. Not everyone likes being on video. So, no. Funnily enough, I know you were born for it, so you know it's not the same for everyone.
My wife thinks I'm a media tart.
That's true. Well, you know, if you have a strategy with your grooming, we were talking about, you know, Bill's not allowed to trim his beard, and I have to have pink hair. It's kind of a thing.
I'm not going to have pink hair.
No, unless. No, it's okay. Don't worry. So, one thing I really want to do is start having interviews with lots of people in the industry, and I've never really done structured interviews. But the question for the grandfather who's starting this whole thing, well, this is my first real, I wanted to have an interview with someone, so I asked them. He just didn't know that it was a plot. Sorry, not sorry. The plot does thicken. So, what do you think would be a really cool question for me to ask people? Like, what do you want people in the whiskey industry to talk about? That's probably
why they wanted to make whiskey in the first place. What is their love of sharing that with people? What is it that's going to drive them into this industry? Are they, the most important thing I would ask them is, you will find that this industry will give to you. Are you willing to give back to the industry? That's the thing I look for in people. People come to me wanting help. I'm happy to help anybody. But what I'd like to think is that they will then pass that on and share that with other people. When I got my licence back in 1992, I had a phone call from one of the big distilleries in Scotland 2 weeks after getting my licence, offering to help me. It was John Grant from Glenfarclas. And I'm like, wow, John, how can I help you? And
how do you even know my name? That's amazing.
Well, I said, and he said, well, Bill, our distributor in Hobart tells me you've got a licence to make whiskey. How can I help you? I'd like to help you make good whiskey. And I was blown away by the generosity of that. And I said, John, do you mind me asking? I'm pleasantly surprised. Why would you do that? And he said, well, Bill, if somebody comes to your distillery and it's their first experience with whiskey, I'd like it to be a good experience. And if it is, they will go on to enjoy, as you know it, the big wider world of whiskey. And so those words have always stayed with me. So when people came to me eventually and said they'd like some help to start a distillery, I'd say, sure, let me help you for the same reasons. But I'd also try to encourage them to, when somebody comes to them, try to do the same thing. And I think what we've done, I think we've shown other industries around Australia that we're a very collegial industry, and we've grown from 26 years ago from nothing to this wonderful industry we have today because we've all supported each other. So that's the question I would ask people. Do you believe in that, and would you help other people if they came to you?
That's great, and it really is important, because if the whiskey industry and people who like to drink whiskey, if they all have good experiences, then that's only a good thing for the industry.
Oh, sure.
It's phenomenal.
And you know, people call me the godfather or the grandfather of the industry. That wouldn't be the case if really good people hadn't come along and shared in that same belief. And I've just been lucky. I've been surrounded by terrific people in the industry. That's a really pleasing thing, and I'd like to see that continue to grow.
That's very cool. Earlier I asked Bill, or I kind of made a statement question, what does it feel like to be the grandfather and the starter, the instigator of such a big and amazing movement and industry in Australia? And the look on your face was priceless. It was like, I feel really proud. Like, what else are you supposed to say to something like that? But
it is a humbling and a proud feeling. And I often think of how lucky we'll be in life to create not only our own business, but to help create an industry. I don't know how often that happens to people in life, but we've been pretty lucky.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, Shandy, it's been fantastic. Love talking to you. I love your enthusiasm and passion.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for letting me twist the plot, which is fun. I'm excited. So I'm going to start this series of interviews with people in the industry. So obviously, if you want to have a chat, message me. I think it's amazing that the whiskey industry in Australia is somewhere where people can just come and hang out and chat.
Yep.
I think I haven't been in an industry so far that is so willing to chat to each other. Like, you might not share your deepest, darkest secrets of distilling, but, you know, all of the business and the business struggles and all that sort of stuff when it comes to having a distillery and having a business that's so long-term focused. I think, you know, there aren't many industries like that where, you know, and whiskey, which is such a great community to be a part of.
Hey,
really.
Shandy's a great chick to have a conversation with.
Yes! Best plug ever!
I've had a great couple of hours sitting here enjoying a whiskey with you, Shandy, and chatting about whiskey. It's been really lovely. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks. Well, I always have fun chatting with you, so thank you. Bye, everyone. Now, if you're in Hobart, make sure you come to Lark. Like, that should be in a #1 spot. Stop. Honestly, there are lots of cool places in Hobart because it's Hobart, but Lark is #1. The people behind the bar, over there, They are always the best people in Hobart. Lark has a really good knack for hiring the best people, and they will always give you good pointers as to what's happening in town. They'll help you with whiskey selection. They're just good people. So make sure Lark is your number one stop.